Thank you. It is a tremendous honor to be here. And firstly, I would like to apologize that my co-author, Karel Janecek, cannot be here with us today. Unfortunately, there was a family emergency, so he wasn't able to come. But he's very sorry about that. So today, I would like to talk to you about Democracy 21, which Karel Janecek is the founder of. And particularly, I would like to follow up on the talks earlier this morning, which already emphasized the importance of GNH in business. And what I would like to offer in this talk would be a platform and an offer of our own system, which would be providing an application or a real implementation of the GNH principles in business. So starting with a very brief overview, I'll just explain a little bit more about Democracy 21 and the applications of GNH within the initiative. Then I would like to move on to a decision-making platform which we have been developing and which we believe could be a great addition, or as I previously mentioned, a tool for implementing GNH in business. And finally, I would like to present a couple of case studies focusing on a number of projects which we have already performed. So starting off with the first part. Democracy 21, or D21, is an initiative which is based in the Czech Republic, in Prague, but we have a number of international projects going on in the USA, in the UK, France, Portugal, Tunisia, or Zambia. And the main aims of D21 have, since the organization, the initiative has been set up, been to promote good, accountable governments together with supporting the holistic development of our society. And really the main interest of the initiative is to help to promote and reach consensus within communities, within businesses, firms, and also to promote sense of participation for employees and community members. So as you can see, of course, that these principles very much align with the GNH principles themselves. And this is something that we didn't realize to start with, since these principles have been around since the initiative was started, but through being in touch with the Friends of Bhutan Association in the Czech Republic, which Lilia has mentioned in her talk early on, we really understood that perhaps our efforts in the initiative could be contributing to development of GNH principles in business in other countries as well. So the main tool which we are currently using in D21 is an innovative voting system which is really aiming to make people happier in the community, in the company, in the business, in school. And we do this through helping them to reach a widely accepted consensus more easily. So in the second part of my talk, I would like to explain in a bit more detail the innovative decision-making platform which we have been developing. And I would like to offer this platform to you as an example of how we could, as a single way of implementing GNH. So traditional voting methods are based on a single vote. So one person would have a single vote, which could lead to simply black and white results. We would see a single winner, but we wouldn't really have any idea about other opinions that the people might have. So what D21 has been trying to do, what really we have been developing through this voting method, And what we really put the emphasis on is satisfaction of people with the results. So we want the community members or the business, the members of the business to actually be satisfied with the results, which of course would then create a sense of belonging in the company or in the community, and a greater sense of happiness. Secondly, we want people to have the ability to choose more options and to really express their views more in a wider concept. And finally, we've been focusing on revealing both consensus and controversy within the community that we are focusing on. So what are we actually doing in this method? What are the main points that I would like to introduce? So this voting method is based on two main sections, as you can see here. So firstly, we include multiple votes per voter. So these would be the plus votes. And instead of having just a single vote, we would have at least 2 votes per person. And the important thing to note is that we need to have more votes than is the number of winners. So for example, if we have a single winner, then we want to have 2 votes. If we had 2 winners, then we would want to have at least 3 votes. So that would be the first basis of this voting method. And secondly, we also implement the so-called minus votes. So we want people to be able to express their negative views as well. And the minus vote would only be available after people have casted their plus votes. So of course we don't want to support the negative notion in the community. The maximum number of the half votes would be half the number of the plus votes. So as an example, if we have 2 plus votes, then as a maximum number of minus votes, we could have just 1. And let me now give you an example of how this method actually works, so I can illustrate why we believe that it could be providing a greater consensus for the whole community. So if we imagine that we only have a voting system with a single vote, if each person votes once, as you can see on the screen just now, you can notice that the last panel, the VIP parking, would be the winner, because we have 2 people voting for this option. But if we use the method using multiple votes, it actually turns out that there were only these 2 people who would find the VIP parking acceptable. And now, as you can see in column 1, the winner would be a leisure park or improvement of the parks. So really this shows that in the community there could be preferences for a number of different options, and the single votes could simply be showing a bias. So through having multiple votes, we really can see the consensus in the community a lot more clearly. And finally, if we add the negative vote, again, you can see that a huge number of people would in fact be against the VIP parking. So again, it turns out that our winner would be our option number 1, our new park. So again, the negative votes give us, again, a clearer picture of what the community as a whole wants. And through this, we can understand what the majority of people are interested in or what they would prefer. And we can see where perhaps people might be less happy with the result. And through performing this innovative voting system in a community, in a company, in a business, we can really ensure that the majority of people are happy with the result, or at least that they do not mind or are not against the result that has been chosen. So we believe that this strategy could really be implemented by business leaders just to improve sense of belonging and participation of the employees, because of course if they can contribute to the decision making, they would feel a lot more involved and connected within the company, thus increasing and therefore they would feel happier, and as other talks have discussed before, this would lead to increased productivity of the company as well. So now moving on to what we actually would like to offer, or just as a suggestion for you to think about. So our voting system is coupled already with an online application, which provides an easy to understand way of showing the results. So, for example, as you can see in the middle here, we can easily picture the results, and also we can use maps or other things to understand the needs of the community or the business better. So as I mentioned, this is available as an online app, and I'll go through this a little bit more at the end of the presentation as well. So now let me move on to the third part of my presentation, which is the case study, or showing how this voting method could actually be implemented in the business context. So, as I already alluded to, we believe that this method could be used in many, many different situations. So in businesses, but also in planning of cities, participatory budgeting within a community. It could be used in schools, youth participation, as well as in government. So now just giving a couple of more precise examples. The first example would be our business application. So, as I already alluded to and discussed before, we could use this system in the businesses to improve the general happiness of the employees. Through learning about the needs of our employees, we could engage and empower the staff. But of course, this could also be helpful to learn about needs during budget allocation, and also to inform leaders and shareholders who would be voting at a number of different meetings. So we would like to propose this method. If you were interested, we'd be very happy to discuss more. And as I said, we believe that it could be widely applied in a number of different companies. So the second example which I would like to give you would be school participatory budgeting. And we have already performed a number of case studies both in the Czech Republic but also abroad, for example in countries such as Zambia. And what PB in schools would be based on would be a whole set of steps during which the children would learn about democracy, about participation, voting. Also, we would start, of course, by setting out some rules.
Last 2 minutes.
Thank you. The children themselves would draft the proposals, evaluate them as a group. So, apart from teaching them about democracy, voting, and other things, they would, of course, gain a lot of knowledge about proposal preparation, presentation, and they would also understand how the voting is being done and how the results are then shown and presented. Finally, of course, it would be important to actually implement this. So I just wanted to show you an example of a school PB feedback from a teacher in Zambia. So you can see from this feedback that from our case studies, really the PBs in schools have been very successful, teaching pupils on a number of different levels. And another real application which I just wanted to present is a social game which is currently launched in the Czech Republic. So as Lilia has already mentioned as well, in a few months' time, the presidential election will take place in the Czech Republic, and alongside the official presentations, we have launched a social game which introduces the voting system. It's an online game, and this introduces the system into governmental applications as well. So apart from implementation in business, we strongly believe that there will be applications within the governmental sectors as well. And finally, I would just like to give you the website for our application when you can learn more and where you can actually when you can just start using the application. It is very easy, and you can just start using the principles, and we have a website design which helps you to design your own survey or your own voting system if you wish so. So if anybody would be interested to discuss this further, I would be very happy to. And I would just like to leave you with my email address, and thank you very much for your attention.